Lawyer Martin Pebu defends legality of team as it continues to gather and validate reports received from Ghanaians.
The Ghana Health Service closely monitoring human metapneumovirus situation after a surge in HMPV cases in China.
Also coming up, we'll explore the meaning behind inscriptions on commercial vehicles and what it means for owners.
On the international front, U.S. media reports that raids to detain and deport migrants living in the U.S. without permission are set to begin on the first full day of the new Trump administration. You have details of all these stories and more. Be part of the show. Let's hear what you make of the many stories we have for you tonight.
There have been concerns, especially from members of the opposition New Patriotic Party (NPP), regarding the legal basis of Operation Recover All Loot ORAL. The 5-member team was set up by then-President-elect John Dramani Mahama as part of the National Democratic Congress's manifesto promise to tackle state capture and corruption. However, the Operation Recover All Loot ORAL team has defended the legality of the operation.
As part of efforts to promote good governance and fight corruption, the National Democratic Congress (NDC) indicated in the 2024 manifesto that the party would launch an Operation Recover All Loot ORAL to investigate and recover the proceeds of corruption. However, questions have been raised about the legality of ORAL. During his vetting as Attorney General and Minister of Justice nominee, Dr. Dominic Ayine defended the initiative, describing it as a critical tool for accountability.
ORAL is supposed to exact accountability from persons either politically exposed or persons holding public office who used or misused their office to loot public resources by way of property, money, and other intangible resources. So ORAL is constitutional. ORAL is legal. In fact, the fact that it is a non-legal body doesn't mean that it is illegal. There's a distinction between non-legality and illegality.
But former Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Oseiche Mensah Bonsu, has questioned the legality and mandate of the Operation Recover All Loot Committee.
You are writing letters to people to return this and do this and so on. What does that mean? If you are alleging looting, already you have established criminality against individuals. But is that what the Constitution provides? A person is deemed innocent until proven guilty. You are saying that the person has looted. You are waiting for, you are asking him to return. You write a letter to the person. What authority do you have to do that? What's your own authority to do that? You are shredding the image of the person, right? And yet, you have not established through any due process the fact that the person has engaged in any criminality. Because there's a new regime, there's no coup in Ghana.
Members of the minority NPP caucus in Parliament have also raised questions about the legality of ORAL, urging former government appointees not to respond to any invitation from the team. Speaking on key points, former government's spokesperson on governance and security at the presidency, Dr. Palgrave Wachidankwa, said the MPP is not against accountability, but emphasized that the law must be followed.
The real challenge is that you do not want to abuse the office of the national security. The national security has been set in place for a number of deliverables, and the strategy is very clear for everyone to know. But you do not want to abuse that role or that right. So we must ask the right questions so that the right things are done. And for us, that's the most important thing. So that you do not seem to cause judgment on the narrative that you put in place. Because in all of the conversations that we're having, it so appears that they are causing judgment that this is state capture, this is looting, this is that, this is that. But you're gathering. You're supposed to be gathering and then sending all those documents that you have gathered to any of the state institutions that we so have available. We are not against accountability.
However, a member of ORAL and private legal practitioner Martin Bebu cited laws that support the work of the committee.
There are a number of laws. Let's start with the Whistleblowers Act. You will see in Section 3, they've stated many things that many ways of helping to combat crime. So when the president sets up the committee and says, please receive, we've always had this culture. I didn't start now. But like I said, please, as part of our democracy, they say an unexamined life is not worth living. So it's normal. Let citizens ask questions. As a citizen, you can do citizen arrest, and then also you can go fetch information and give police. So this argument that there are law enforcement agencies, with due respect, is threadbare.
His views were backed by the Member of Parliament for South Jai, Roxanne Nelson Defiametbo, who explained that the work of the Oral Committee is grounded in law.
The committee that has been set up to do what is technically called fact-finding, evidence-gathering, for purposes of some further action by government is properly anchored in law. In Article 41, the exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations, and accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen, F, to protect and preserve public property and expose and combat misuse and waste of public funds and property.
The 5-member oral team was formed on December 18, 2024, and is tasked with receiving and gathering information from the public and other sources on suspected acts of corruption.
Meanwhile, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has also been commenting on issues related to state and vested lands. Let's take you through some of the key issues captured in the OSP's half-year report. And it goes on to say, amongst other things, that the office is proceeding with investigation into the appropriation, sale and lease of state-owned lands and properties to individuals and corporate bodies since 1993. That goes really way back. It says the investigation covers all lands and properties that fall under the direct stewardship of the Lands Commission, the Ministry of Works and Housing and other ministries, state housing companies, state-owned companies and other state agencies. It says the investigation also covers the management of vested lands and all public lands over which the state's ownership or control has been relinquished and the conditions of release. And the investigation covers the sale, lease, grant and disposal by the Lands Commission to individuals and corporate entities of some parcels of land and bungalows occupied by the Judicial Service of Ghana. And so that is how the Office of the Special Prosecutor, has also been commenting on issues regarding state lands and vested lands, or lands that have been handed to the government to watch over or to preside over. So there are already concerns about the duties the OSP has just mentioned in their half-year report vis-a-vis what the oral team, the Operation Recover All Loot, are also doing. There certainly may be some overlaps, but clearly these are two separate institutions, and going forward we hope to see how they can give clarity as to exactly what they'll be doing.
Now, the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, says if the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, would be privatized, whether wholly or partially, it should be done in a transparent manner to make the retooling of the structure more effective. My colleague Ikuya Oferiwa engaged the policy lead for petroleum and conventional energy at ACEP, Kojo Yauche, about this development story.
Over the last decade, every gap assessment of Ghana's power sector points to the distribution of power managed by ECG, and this according to the policy lead for petroleum and conventional energy at ACEP, Kojo Yauche. It shows the weakest link and where all the leakages emanate.
Last year, we were doing on the average 43% of revenue collection. Right? I mean, how bad can it get? Which means that the other 57% that is left uncollected, right, has to be paid for by someone. What businessman, right, will run a business and be making about 40% losses, and that business will continue? It's a lot. How much is your profit?
He touched on the issue of under-recoveries within the power sector, which undermine economic development of the country.
Government has year on been shouldering some of these under-recoveries to the tune of about $1.5 billion every year. Then you ask yourself, how much did we build UGMC for? That was for like $200 million. So it means that in a year, the money that is pumped into the power sector for the under-recoveries should be enough to build about 7 UGMCs dotted across the country.
For the management and operations of ECG, Kojo Yaucha says the state-owned entity needs some form of private sector inclusion.
The option we are proposing is that let ECG still be a government asset, but let it be managed and operated by a different entity. Because you have a private entity now that is managing and operating it. You are able to set key performance indicators for this private entity and ensure compliance. When we give you a period and you are not able to do it, our primary concern with such an idea is that it has to be done in a transparent and competitive manner.
High operational losses have become a burden on the power sector. The Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, suffered a 10.21 billion cedis loss in 2022, worse than the 1.91 billion cedis recorded in 2021. Ekio Feriwa Dak on TV3 News.
Turning to issues on the economy and finance, tonight we focus on the state of Ghana's finances and examine how the NDC administration plans to generate revenue to fund its initiative while also pledging to abolish key taxes. My colleague Martin Isidudata is standing by the magic wall to do that for us. Martin, tell us, is Ghana broke?
That's an interesting question. And Aisha, to answer that, maybe I should just walk us through our current finances, where we stand, and then we all as Ghanaians can have or hazard a guess as to whether the nation is broke or not. So we are starting from our total projected revenue as a country for this year, 2025. How much are we looking at earning? So, and this is data from the Finance Ministry, the Ministry of Finance, that has been extrapolated by our research desk. So Ghana as a country is looking in 2025 to earn at least 208.4 billion cedis. That is how much we have projected to earn as a country. Now, if you know how much you're earning, that should basically also help you project how much you will be spending from how much you're earning. So we want to earn 208.4 billion, but this is how much we are spending. Our total expenditure for 2025 is 244.4 billion Ghana cedis. If you look at these two numbers, you can deduce simply that there is a difference of about 36 billion cedis, technically meaning that we are spending more than we are earning. So that means that we actually would be having a deficit or a shortfall in total revenue that we generate for the country or to run the country effectively. So if you're earning less than you are spending, you definitely are in the minus. But let's look at the specific breakdown. Every minute, how much does Ghana earn? How much do we spend? And where do we go from there? So as a country, every minute, Ghana makes 396,488.45 Ghana cedis every minute. So the last 2-3 minutes that I've been speaking, this is how much we are making or expected to make. This is how much we spend. we spend 465,046.59 Ghana cedis every minute, which means that we actually, again, just to buttress the earlier point, every minute, this is how much we are spending. If you compare it to how much we are earning, there definitely still is a shortfall or a deficit. The needs we make, how much do we need per minute? We need a minimum of 68,558.14 Ghana cedis every minute to at least balance out how much we earn so that we can live, at least break even regarding our spending. So that is the current situation we find ourselves in, or at least based on the Ministry of Finance's projection for 2025, we are earning less than we are spending, and we've also told you the deficit or the balance therein. Now, before we even come to the specific taxes that this current government wants to take out of how much they are accruing as a country, this is where we make most of our monies. The country, if it were a man, is making 83% of its finances or revenue from taxes. I never talk about taxes, the taxes you and I pay on a daily basis, either on petrol, or on water, or on telecom, whichever taxes government takes from us, all those taxes make up 83% of our total revenue as a country. It's just 17% of our total revenue that is not tax money, or that's not money from taxes that the country is generating. Now, let's take you back to this particular graph. It's pretty interesting because the current administration, the NDC under John Dramani Mahama, during their campaign, told the country that they will be scrapping 3 key taxes. That is the betting tax, the e-levy, and then the COVID levy. How much money were we generating from these 3 taxes? So the highest was the COVID levy, although the NPP, the outgone NPP government said that the expected projection they didn't get as much as they expected. They still made quite some substantial amount of money. They made about almost 4 billion Ghana cedis from e-levy alone. So 4 billion Ghana cedis was coming in from the e-levy. 2.43 billion cedis was coming, I beg your pardon, COVID levy, I should say, COVID levy. 2.4 billion coming in from e-levy, and then 1.2 billion Ghana cedis was what government was getting from the betting tax. The NDC government says that they are going to scrap all these taxes, indirectly saying that of the total amount we are making, we are going to be losing 7.6 billion Ghana cedis annually because we have decided to scrap these 3 taxes. That's what the NPP government, it was part of the expenditure they were rolling out on a daily, or how they were spending the nation's money, in running the economy and running the country. But if the NDC is saying they're going to be scrapping all of this, what are the specific plans they intend to roll out to get in extra money? Already, the NPP in opposition is saying that government intends to scrap these taxes and tax us through the back door. But is that what they expect to do? Well, I'm sure the next question on the minds of many is, if government intends to scrap this, how are they going to be generating money to run the economy? Maybe that's the question we would have to throw to the incoming finance minister. That is, if he's approved. I'm talking about Dr. Kaysel Atuforsen. He's been speaking at his vetting, and the question was thrown to him. If the intention is to scrap these taxes, how do we move forward? Let's listen exactly to what the finance minister designate has been saying.
Mr. Chairman, in the short term, we need to bring confidence back. My proposal is for us to immediately introduce a very strong budget, signaling that we are ready to do the heavy liftings. That first budget will indeed send the right signal that Ghana is ready to open our doors for investors to come into the country. I believe if we are to introduce strong measures, particularly from the expenditure side, we will be able to bring inflation down to 8% plus or minus 2. In doing so, we'll be able to reopen the domestic bond market so that we can move away from the over-reliance of the treasury bill market. And so we'll be able to, at a minimum, smoothing the harms that has been created as a result of the domestic debt exchange and the Eurobond. And so we need to bring confidence back. But if you are confronted with a situation where you do not have financing, then there's the need for you to look within. Let's deal with expenditure. Let's cut expenditure. Let us not pretend that there's money out there for us. Just like has been done in somewhere, we can also do it here. My proposal is, let's look at the expenditure side as well. It shouldn't always be borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. It's time for us to cut the waste, and so I will lead the process to cut the waste. And I will need you, honorable members, to help me cut the waste so that we live and stay within the envelope that we can. But when push comes to shove, obviously, we will work with our development partners, such as the Africa Development Bank, the World Bank, the European Union, and other bilateral agencies, including the IMF, to raise cheaper sources of financing to finance government expenditure.
So, Martin, Dr. Kaysel Atuforsen's master plan is to reduce inflation to a single digit, which is 8% plus or minus 2.
Yeah.
And this, he says, will increase investor confidence. Yeah. What does all of this mean?
Well, clearly, it tells you that they are pretty much aware of the current situation we find ourselves in. And so that is part of the proposal they intend to roll out if, of course, he's given the nod by the vetting committee of parliament and he goes into office. They intend to immediately run and ensure that our inflation is brought to a single digit. What this indirectly means is that it gives the confidence of outside investors and even local investors to bring in more money, create jobs, and expand the economy. So that is one key strategy the government intends to roll out. Reduce inflation to single digit, plus or minus 2. At least they were looking at it by end of first quarter, second quarter, thereabout, or by the entire year, we should have 8%. That is expected to increase investor confidence. Also, they hope to borrow from the domestic bond market and decrease the over-reliance on treasury bills. And that's one other key thing he talked about. You know, naturally, well, because we go outside to borrow, and before we went to the IMF for some assistance, it was because we had been shut out of the international capital market. We can't go out to borrow again. We're over borrowing, and clearly many people raised issues about they couldn't see or feel all those monies we're borrowing. When we bring it into the country, what really do we use it for? So this current administration is saying that they will look at focusing on borrowing from the domestic market, because even going out to borrow is higher. You pay more interest on it. But look, and then you're also borrowing in dollars or in foreign currency. But on the local scene, you're borrowing in cedis. And as a government, they can, you know, have a hand on managing the flow of the local currency, especially to those who are going to be investing into public expenditure. Then that they also hope that because they're going to be focusing more on expanding or borrowing from the local market, it is likely to expand the tax net. Now, this particular phrase of expanding the local, expanding the tax net or widening the tax net has been used several governments since probably former President Kufuor up until now. And why is it that there really isn't any clear-cut strategy of how to increase the tax bracket? What this means is that a few people in Ghana are those that are paying taxes. That probably could be just you and I. But the monies government needs is more than the few who are paying. So if we widen it, then we have more people paying smaller amounts from a larger pool. That would help government make more money in running the economy. And then the last strategy this government intends to roll out, part of Atuforsen's answers, were that they are looking at cutting down expenditure. Mind you, one of the key whips the NPP government under Nana Akufo-Addo was whipped with almost every day was that they had too many people on government payroll and that they needed to cut down expenditure. So this government wants to hold the bull by the horn and say they are cutting down expenditure so they can save some money. And by so doing, they also seek to get external funding, cheaper external sources of funding. So although we may still go to the international market to get money, we'll try and diversify to see if we can get it from people who lend to us at lower rates. So those are the key issues we are looking at. Then I want to throw the question back to you, Aisha, and our viewers. Is the country broke? Maybe we are, but we can definitely put in the effort to crawl ourselves back out of our current challenges.
Right, Martin. Thank you very much for breaking this down to our understanding. Let's now move on to health this evening. Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Virology at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, Kofi Humphrey, has allayed fears about the likely spread of human metapneumovirus HMPV to Ghana. His comments follow a release from the Ghana Health Service, which stated that it is closely monitoring the situation after a surge in HMPV cases in China.
A surge in cases of the flu-like human metapneumovirus HMPV in China has raised fears of another COVID-style pandemic, first identified in the Netherlands in 2001. HMPV spreads through direct contact between people or when someone touches a contaminated surface. The virus leads to a mild upper respiratory tract infection for most people and is usually almost indistinguishable from the flu. The Ghana Health Service says that Ghana has not recorded any signs of usual respiratory pathogens such as the human metapneumovirus HMPV. The service, however, has urged the public and healthcare professionals to remain vigilant and adhere to preventive measures, including early detection to mitigate potential risks. For Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Virology at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, Kofi Humphrey, Ghana should be concerned.
It's a respiratory virus, which is not new. I mean, the difference between this and COVID was that the latter was a new virus. A new virus, which means that the body has not built any immunity to it. So when you get it, you don't know what is going to happen. But this human metapneumovirus has been with us since the year 2001, and certainly is quite stable, a virus, and also quite a number of people have built immunity to it, even though there's no antiviral medication for it. It is self-limiting. In other words, if you get it and your immune status is quite competent, it has to resolve by itself after some few days with fluids and a lot of rest, you'll be okay. So yes, we should be concerned because we have a high number of it in some other country. But we shouldn't also be so concerned because it is not a very fatal virus. In other words, it doesn't cause fatal disease.
Professor Kofi Humphrey spoke about measures to be adopted to contain any possible spread.
Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. If possible, have some face masks to wear. If you know that you are coughing, make sure that you don't put your fingers into your nostrils from time to time or at the corner of your eyes. Basically, those protocols that we set up during the COVID-19 should be observed. I mean, including personal hygiene. It's something that we should be doing so that we minimize the occurrences of this within the population.
Professor Kofi Humphrey lauded the preparedness of the Ghanaian authorities to quickly deal with any outbreak should it occur.
It's difficult to kind of stop respiratory infections from getting into the country. I mean, so long as we have international travel, these things can always come around because people sit in airplanes and they move from one country to the other. The country is quite ready to either detect and to deal with cases like that because we have a very potent system in place. Like what Ghana Health Service has just done, activate the system, make sure that when it comes in, because the system is quite active, it will pick it, and if it is picked it early, certainly the other remedial measures that we have in place will be executed.
Still on health-related matters, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, has urged Ghanaians to remain calm as there has been an outbreak of acute respiratory virus infections in the Northern Hemisphere. He was speaking at the Triennial Conference on the Medical Women's Association of Ghana in Accra.
The Medical Women's Association of Ghana, MWAG, is a registered NGO that has been in existence since 1965. The Triennial Conference brought together medical professionals, policymakers and stakeholders to champion the health of women in Ghana. President of the Medical Women's Association of Ghana, Dr. Mary Nwankwo Coleman said it was important to address issues related to women, especially female doctors.
We believe that because women form the base of the Ghanaian economy, we need to be healthy to be able to make the economy grow. And to be healthy, you need medical doctors to be able to not just cure you, but promote health education, so that people will live lifestyles that are very good for their health and prevent diseases. And when they get sick, we'll also be there for them.
She also spoke about the human papillomavirus, HPV, and its effect on both mother and child.
Cervical cancer is a condition that affects women. So we believe that if people are aware of it, then they will be able to take the preventive measures. One of the preventive measures is vaccination against the human papillomavirus. When they receive the vaccine, then they are protected against the HPV, which is known to be the major cause.
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, spoke about measures put in place against the spread of human metapneumovirus.
We have a system of surveillance where we check for these viruses. We do for normal flu, influenza, we do for COVID, but we are now added that to it to check to see those who are, if any, but we want to give assurance to people that we don't have it here and that we are watching.
The theme for the Medical Women's Association of Ghana's Triennial Conference was championing the health of women to secure the wealth of the nation, the role of lady doctors.
Away from that, Savannah Regional Minister-designate Salisu Biawurubi has given a strong indication that his government will solve the long-standing water problem in Damongo and improve the road network in the region. Highlighting the challenges faced by the region, he pledged his commitment to working with traditional authorities and all stakeholders to drive development in the area. Savannah Regional correspondent Nadra Mohammed has filed this report.
Savannah Region is amongst the 6 new regions created prior to the 2020 general elections. The region is currently the largest region in Ghana in terms of landmarks. It is made up of 7 administrative districts, namely Bole, Central Gonja, North Gonja, East Gonja, Solatuna Kalba, West Gonja, and Northeast Gonja. The region has huge potentials in terms of agriculture. However, the region is plagued with challenges, including poor road infrastructure, inadequate health and school facilities, and limited access to potable water, amongst others.
Damongo, as we all know now, is the Savannah regional capital, and then we are facing a whole lot of challenges when it comes to potable drinking water.
Speaking exclusively to TV3, the Savannah Regional Minister-designate Salisu Biawurubi emphasized that the region will see massive development under the NDC administration.
Moving from one part of the region to another and between communities is a huge challenge. So the road opening is a key area that I would, together with His Excellency the President, focus our energies in opening up the area. The beauty of it is that when you open up Savannah, you have opened up the country Ghana. Because of its vast agricultural potential, people will be free to move in to that area to do commercial large-scale farming.
He noted that the water crisis in Damongo, youth unemployment, and the road network will be his top priorities.
We have made a commitment to make sure that by the end of the 4-year tenure of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we'll be drinking water from a reliable source, and that is tapping from the river of either Bupe or Yape. As you are aware, that I was instrumental in the Fufuso Junction water system, and that was also a part of the works of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama when the Solar Fufuso Road was under construction. I was then a DC for Central Gonja, and through the efforts of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the funding agency African Development Bank, we were able to set up another water system bigger than the capacity of even the communities around Fufuso Junction and Intereso and Yawurpe.
The Savannah region is bordered to the north by the Upper West region, to the west by the Ghana-Côte d'Ivoire international border, to the south by the Bono and Bono East regions, and to the east by the northeast and northern regions.
Now, academic work at Seneso Junior High School in the Setrafram Plains district of the Ashanti region is facing serious setbacks due to continuous absenteeism by students. Teachers say that the situation is being fueled by teenage pregnancy and parental neglect. Stanley Niblewu has the rest of the story.
Seneso is a poor farming settlement in the Setrafram Plains district in the Ashanti region. The Seneso Primary and Junior High School in the area also provides formal basic education to pupils from nearby communities. However, teachers complain about low pupil attendance.
A teacher, you have left your home to this particular community, and then you come to class, empty class, and you ask them, where are the rest of your colleagues? They will tell you, oh, they've gone to farm to harvest rice. You know, it's not easy. And then after harvesting, they will come back and be expecting you to perform magic or a miracle.
Prior to the news team's visit, the school was informed by the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, which encouraged pupils to attend school in larger numbers. Girl-child education is often relegated and not encouraged by parents. Teachers say that the few girls who show interest in education and enroll in school later drop out due to teenage pregnancy.
Since I came here, I've notified even 8 students who have been pregnant and leave the school. Last year, we were having 2 at JHS3, and they even couldn't write BEC. We registered them, and they didn't go because they were feeling shy. The parents are even motivating them for them to marry.
Although most of the girls see their Member of Parliament, Nazira Afrajechi, as a role model, we were told that efforts by teachers to sustain their interest in school have been thwarted by some community members who do not believe in formal education.
Even we have educated people here who are now sabotaging us. They are saying that we, the teachers, are earning nothing at the end of the month. Our salary is very small. So they should go, they should leave the school and go and learn seamstress or so.
Some boys who continue their education to the junior high level frequently drop out to engage in charcoal burning. A Form 2 student, Latif Ahassan, dropped out of school because his parents could not afford to buy him a footwear. He now runs errands for people.
My father denies me educational needs anytime I make a request. He did not even buy me books when I was in primary. I buy some of my educational materials when I work on people's farm and make some money. I will go back to school when he fulfills my needs.
Students come to school and you tell the person that, oh, why didn't you come to school? Oh, my father said you should go and, I should go and accompany him at the farm. And then you are like, you punish him and you go and tell the father, and the father will come back attacking you. So the next time you will not do that. You should go to his farm whenever he likes. He will come.
Many boys like Latif face similar situation. The news team gathered that absenteeism is worse during the rainy and dry seasons. The absence of teaching and learning materials is also a concern for teachers. Stakeholders' engagement is crucial in addressing the educational problems of rural communities like Seneso. Stanley Niblewu, TV3 News, Seneso, Ashanti region.
Still in the Ashanti region, 5 victims at Nimamok in the Asakwemampo municipality of the region are struggling to rebuild their lives after losing everything in a Friday evening fire. The incident has left many people helpless with nowhere to turn for support. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar has more in the following report.
At least 30 wooden structures serving as homes to migrants from the northern part of Ghana were razed down by the fire, displacing dozens.
I went to work and just come back to relax. Finally, I was hearing a noise. You people get up, there is a fire. Actually, I just rip up. I wake up and I can see the fire has been burning. Everything at all. I don't pick. This one that I'm wearing is my things.
Adiba kwa higher or muku and say just so has say let's say a friend why service for some man. Answer no man and they be CBI.
Our major concern whenever there is a fire outbreak in the area is that before the firefighters will arrive, the harm has already been caused. We plead with government to provide us Korimampong fire station with a fire tender for swift intervention. Most of the victims had to seek shelter from friends, with others sleeping in the open. Eyewitness accounts indicate that the fire started from one of the wooden structures before spreading quickly to the others due to the presence of flammable materials in many rooms. Though victims have begun clearing all debris to enable them rebuild, they are calling for help. My family and I have no place to sleep. My wife and the kids had to sleep at a relative's place whilst I managed to pass the night outside. Government should support us rebuild. The Ghana National Fire Service has begun investigation to unravel the cause of the fire. The Ashanti region has between January 1 and 17 recorded over 80 fire incidents, prompting the Regional Fire Command to step up education on fire safety measures. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Nima Mok, Asokore-Mampong, Ashanti region.
And in a move to prevent or mitigate any fire hazards, the leadership of the Kaswa Market Retailers Association has installed fire extinguishers in strategic locations throughout the Kaswa New Market. A surveillance operation has also been activated to monitor activities within the market both day and night.
The leadership of Kaswa Market took a cue from a fire incident that destroyed about 72 stalls in the last quarter of last year and implemented preventive measures. As part of the measures, fire extinguishers have been procured and placed in strategic sections of the market where activities could trigger a fire outbreak. Vice President of the Kaswa Market Retailers Association, Lydia Kokobafo, told TV3 News that leadership is committed to protecting the wares of traders.
Ghana and to Yehu my soon say sorry, near boy Joan into your fire security for and Rantiakasi and I walk boy Joan who by my children baby I want Jena a Janosu unit near Bibri and until wage and Najua of Manopa.
Leadership of the Kaswa Timber Market, the largest wood market in the central region, has also instituted measures to prevent any fire outbreaks.
Due to recent fire outbreaks, we've taken precautions at the timber market to remind cooks to extinguish their fires after use to prevent disasters.
And all one way beyond a crowd, we are making sure, say, the friends we are about do jam and copper at Renchen behind the
Traders want the Ghana National Fire Service set to intensify its educational campaigns for traders.
I commend our leaders' initiative. I urge the government to provide us with free fire extinguishers rather than selling them.
Big market is now.
The government should focus on enhancing market safety and collaborate with the fire service to provide training for vendors on fire prevention and response.
The Awutu-Senya East Municipal Fire Officer Dol Marcel Kwame Avedu spoke about measures in place to prevent fires.
To intensify our safety education and market surveys. So every morning we tend to have officers moving through the market to do education at the same time surveying the activities of all market women within the municipality.
In light of recent market fire incidents, the service has enhanced its patrols. The Kaswa Municipal Fire Service has one fire truck which is not in perfect condition. Dola Vedu appealed to authorities to support the fire service with logistics.
We wish we had more than one, not just fire vehicles. We have pickups and other equipment available. It makes the work easy because with pickups then you can move personnel easy, you can divide yourself whilst other team is going around.
Now, anytime you board a Trotro in Ghana, have you ever taken a moment to read the stickers on the windows or the back of the bus? Well, they are not just decorations, but messages filled with humor, faith, and sometimes life lessons. So what do these stickers really mean, and why do they matter? Christabel Success finds out more.
In Ghana, public transport is not just about moving from one place to another. Besides serving as an affordable means of transportation, Trotros have become a platform for carrying messages.
Trotros, the lifeblood of our public transport system here in Ghana, are adorned with stickers carrying everything from spiritual messages to cultural and societal commentaries. But have you ever stopped to think about whether these stickers have deeper meanings to them? Today, we'll uncover all that has to do with these stickers, from stories to motivations and cultural significance behind these stickers on the wheels.
For some commercial vehicle drivers, inscriptions or stickers on their vehicles are more than just words. They are personal reflections, prayers, and sometimes even lessons for passengers.
I chose it because I am calm. The lion is a calm animal. Though strong, he knows when to display it.
The ma mature mechanic say so
The inscription of "Cry Your Own Cry" came from an experience I had while driving. I was arrested alongside others. Everyone tried to speak to the police, but when my time came, I approached him calmly with humility. My demeanor pleases him, and he let me go without trouble. When I returned, people asked what I had said to the officer. I told them the truth. Cry your own cry.
For others, there is no need for stickers or inscriptions on their vehicles.
It is not necessary for me to put a sticker on my car.
The sticker no the car no one if it is a car no be fair.
When you put the sticker on your car at the beginning, it looks very nice. After taking it off for a while, it doesn't look good at all. It takes off the paint from the car.
Some passengers view these stickers as more than simple decorations.
My one is focus. You are working or you want to do something, don't hear aside. Focus about what you are doing. As soon as you have your plans to do something and you focus it, you reach where you are going.
The vendors who create these stickers play an important role, crafting messages that resonate deeply with society. Some vendors who prefer not to be on camera mention that they sometimes do not fully understand the meanings behind these inscriptions. A senior lecturer in the Sociology Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Samson Obedapia, explained that these stickers serve as a mirror to the Ghanaian culture.
So most of these inscriptions are a testament or, a description of people's way of life or situations they find themselves in, and also in terms of the peculiarity of conditions that cut across every day. So it's also based on the nature of the car. So you can see that some of the old cars have inscriptions that are particularly unique to them. One day, show boy, etc. The new cars also have certain peculiar inscriptions.
From humor to advice, these stickers are more than just words on wheels. They offer a window into our culture, give voice to the drivers, and sometimes provide inspiration to passengers. So the next time you board a Trotro, Take a moment to read the inscription or stickers on them. It might just carry a deeper meaning than you think and give you inspiration you need. Christabel Success Trevor, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news tonight, You Fresh Company, a leading manufacturing company of health beverages, has signed a brand ambassador contract with popular Ghanaian actor James Gardner. There's more on this report.
At the same time, try to do more social activity to help with the community, especially bring more job opportunity in Ghana here.
Ghanaian and Nollywood actor James Gardner was excited about this partnership.
I feel like it's for everybody. You know, it doesn't target any class or audience in particular. The fact that it cuts across means that you're reaching a lot more people, and it goes both ways. So I couldn't be more excited.
As part of the agreement, James Gardner will serve as the face of You Fresh Company's brand, promoting the company's range of healthy beverages across various media platforms.
This is News 360. We have some sports news coming up next. Please stay with us.
Bar Association Executive Council member Frederick Echampong has urged Ghanaians to rally behind Black Stars coach Otoado, who has come under intense scrutiny following Ghana's failure to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Ado's second stint as head coach has been marked by challenges, with only 2 wins in his last 10 games. Many fans have expressed dissatisfaction and called for his dismissal. Echampong, however, insists that there's time to stand by the coach as they prepare for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers, which will continue in March.
Why not? This is the coach. He needs our support. If you and I start now losing confidence in the coach and everything, who does it fall on? Who does it fall on? Yes, and he himself admits that the results we had from the AFCON qualifiers are not the best. You understand? He acknowledges that. I acknowledge that. You acknowledge that. What he needs now that we whatever we need to do to support him to be able to, negotiate the World Cup qualifiers and do it well. It's what he requires of us.
Now let's move on to the Premier League, where Black Stars forward Antoine Semenyo got his 9th goal contribution of this season, earning an assist as Bournemouth defeated Newcastle by 4-1. Darwin Nunez was no victory over Brentford. And just a few minutes ago, Arsenal drew 2-2 with Aston Villa.
Tell the way that they've started this game that there's a confidence about Bournemouth. Semenyo pulling this back for Kluivert! They deserve it. Good delivery as well. 1-1. Bruno Guimaraes. His foot in. It's Kluivert. It's 2. Gets it away, gives it away. Adams for Kluivert. Bournemouth still hungry for more. The cherry on top of the cake. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Darwin Nunez. Liverpool have flung bodies forward here.
Of course, Antoine Semenyo now has 3 assists in the Premier League this season. 2 seasons prior combined, he had a total of 2 assists. And so he's having a great season in the Premier League. Bringing an end to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bilishan. Entertainment is up next.
Segment is brought to you by Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
In entertainment news this evening, tourism expert and entrepreneur Samson Afedopa has stressed the importance of prioritizing domestic tourism and encouraging more family travel across Ghana. In an interview with 3 Entertainment, he pointed out that Ghana's funerals and festivals are attracting growing attention and underscored the need to promote these cultural events as a key component of the domestic tourism strategy.
Tourism has undoubtedly played a crucial role in the economic independence of many countries worldwide. The sector has boosted national revenues, created jobs, improved infrastructure and fostered cultural exchange between locals and foreigners. In Ghana, stakeholders are actively seeking ways to enhance the tourism experience and expand the sector. Tourism expert and entrepreneur Samson Afedopa highlighted that Ghana's funeral and festivals are gaining increasing attention, and he emphasized the importance of promoting these cultural events as part of the domestic tourism drive.
Gold Coast was very pivotal to the slave trade, so that has given us a lot of influence, people connecting their roots and learning about their history and then their ancestry. But then when you look at our people, our culture, the kente, the festivals that we have, they have also piqued a lot of interest from people. Even our funerals have recently piqued a lot of interest.
To maximize the benefits of tourism, there is a growing need to focus on domestic tourism and encourage more family to travel across the country.
As indigenes, we also do our best to explore and then relax at some of the natural sites that we have or some of the tourist destinations that we have. But I think a lot more can be done. When you look at the UK, where you have over 90% of the population taking family vacations in the year, you can see that Ghana is still lacking behind. We still have a lot to do. We need to promote it within the family circle. So when our children are on vacation, we can take them somewhere. We can even book a hotel and spend some few nights outside the house.
While Ghana has already seen significant gains from tourism, stakeholders believe there is still more to be done to promote the country as a tourism destination and further boost domestic tourism.
Time now for international news.
U.S. media is reporting that raids to detain and deport migrants living in the U.S. without permission are set to begin on the first full day of the new Trump administration. The operations threatened by Donald Trump's border czar Tom Homan could begin in Chicago, a city with a large migrant population. As early as Tuesday, the New York Times and Wall Street Journal say Trump has said he will oversee the largest deportation program in U.S. history. Meanwhile, preparations are continuing for the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. The ceremony has been moved indoors due to dangerously cold weather being forecast next week. Trump is due to arrive in D.C. later for a series of events before being sworn in on Monday. 2 senior Iranian judges have been shot dead in an apparent assassination in the country's Supreme Court. Ali Razini and Mohammed Mughisa were killed after an armed man entered the court in the.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Esiedudate.
And I am Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Have a good evening.
Explore the nature and create from it. The spirit of inventors leads to the inspiration for new technology. By drawing nature's energy, we create the extraction tech. Small in size, huge in power. Millions of microcapsules condense the essence of nature. Join us, Cleasoft Invent.